This is the brand new Afeela. It was revealed on the CES 2023 show, and it's a new electric vehicle from Sony Honda Mobility. So it's a partnership between these two Japanese giants. It's expected to arrive in the US in 2026. Pre-orders will open in 2025. Let's not get anything mistaken here. This is not a car design. This is a consumer electronics product. There are 45 cameras and sensors inside and out of this thing. 45! If you need 45 sensors to function as advertised, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably not going to be a driver-oriented experience. Hopefully, they're well built, all these 45 sensors. Well built enough that you won't have to take it into the shop every other week to get it fixed or replaced. You also have level 3 automated driving will be available under certain circumstances, which I hope it would be because they had 45 sensors, while level 2 driver assistance will be more prevalent in, for example, city driving. There's also wireless updates and over-the-air disabling of your car whenever they want to, which is the case with every single EV. Now let's talk about this design here and what's going on with this Honda. I can see some Honda in here. I don't see any. I can also see a lot of Sony actually, because it is, as I said, this is to me not a car design at all. This is straight up a consumer electronics product on wheels. That's what it is to me. When I first saw this, zero emotions popping at me because there is nothing that brings any sort of personality to this car. So, you know, there are two camps of EV manufacturers these days. You have these type of EV manufacturers that want to create the most efficient way to go from point A to point B with the most range and less resistance and so on. And when you design cars like that, this is inevitably what you're gonna get. A very anonymous design with zero personality in its styling. And that's fine. This is fine for, you know, going to work, for people who just commute to work from A to B every day, don't care about cars. They're not car enthusiasts. They just want to get there as efficiently and safely as possible. This is the type of car for them, and this is also the type of car that if I were to look in a driver's ed manual or book, an illustration of this car would be perfect to have in one of these books. And then you have the other camp of EV manufacturers, for example, the Hyundais and the Kia. I would say Kia is in this camp as well. And you have Dodge as well, where they take this new platform with EVs and they actually make some exciting stuff that they couldn't do with an internal combustion engine when it comes to the design. I'm talking about the design here now. So they're creating the Charger Daytona EV concept, which looks like it's ready for production already. You have the Envision concept from Hyundai, mind-blowing design, taking the 70 Pony design, implementing it in a new, absolutely insane design for the Hyundai Envision 74 concept. And you also have the Kia EV6, which I think it's a cool design. It doesn't look like a blob design like a lot of other EVs. However, I would say Mercedes is morphing into this more bean camp of design, which is unfortunate because I think Mercedes could do a lot of cool things when it comes to their EV designs on this new platform and create some really cool, stunning concept, taking inspiration from past legends. So this car, going back to the Afeela here, as you can see in the front end, we have one single light bar. Nothing going on here. There's gonna be a short video because there's really not a lot to talk about here. And looking at the side view, you have these graphics, which is a sprinkle of Genesis going on here, where you have the light in the front and going into this fender, coming back saying hello right here, and then coming back in the same line in the taillight, which is a nice touch. It creates some nice line flow in the graphic parts of this car. And it looks like the side mirrors right here are replaced by cameras. I'm still not sure if the US has changed the regulations that you can sell cars here now with cameras being replacing physical mirrors, but I guess by 2025 this will have happened, so not a problem there selling this car in the US. Looking at the rear, we have the same kind of treatment, almost a mirror of the front end with this light bar right here, a Afeela in the middle, and you have this little chamfer here, pretty much the only thing that cuts into this bean-shaped design, which, as I said, it's not And nothing wrong with this type of design, it's just not an exciting car for me. And when I saw this at the unveiling, it has this blacked out roof or greenhouse, and it made me think of this. It almost looked like they rolled out a convertible, and it would look good as a convertible. I think this design, this shape would look better as a convertible if we just removed it from this point and removed this section. It would be a very elegant looking convertible, in my opinion. Way better looking than a sedan. I wouldn't call this a bad looking design, and honestly I wouldn't expect anything else from if Sony decides to create a car. Honda, when it comes to Honda design, they're also stripping down on their overstyling. So mixing those two, this is kind of what I expected to see when I heard about the Honda-Sony partnership. And there's, as I said, there's nothing wrong with that. They just have to work on the identity of this Afeela brand, because I've said this before, moving forward we're gonna have very simple proportions, very simple surfacing, but the key point here that separates the brands are gonna be the graphics in the front and the rear, and also sometimes in the side. And in this case, you don't even have that. You don't have a distinct graphic that sets this apart. So that's something that I think this brand is gonna have to work on if they want to stand out in the crowd of a lot of new EV companies popping up now. If you want to have the range, you can still have a shape like this where nothing goes on, smooth surfaces all over, but you need to work on your identity if you want to be a competitive brand. I also want to talk about this interior. Same thing here, kind of exactly what I expected to see from a Sony car, with a big display, and you have sensors all over inside of this, 45 as I said, combined both inside and out. And you know, there's nothing wrong with this, but this is not a car that excites me at all. And you also have a yoke here. This is cool. They decided to take the Tesla approach and bring in the yoke here. I guess if you want to see the screen properly, this is a good idea, because you have your head right here and you have a clear vision down to the display right there. So overall, I think this is a, you know, just a generic EV coming from Sony and Honda. I think this is gonna sell well. I think we need cars like this where you don't really have a lot of excitement in either. I don't know how this is gonna be to drive, but definitely not in the design. But as I said, these type of cars are for people who just want to have, hopefully this is gonna be an affordable EV, because we need more of those. An affordable EV to take them from point A to point B without making much fuss about it. And for that reason, I think this would be a great car, and it's probably gonna sell well when it arrives in 2026.